Hello guys, thank you for joining me. This is Krishna, and the video today is going to be about how you can back up your server and your applications on Cloudways. If you want to follow along with what I'm doing, you should find in the description a link over here that should go ahead and create a free account. You could also use this promo code over here that's going to provide you 3 months with 10% off, and this is a referral link. Okay, but if you already have your account, you can just follow along with what I'm just going to cover. Okay, so backing up your server is something that's really important to do, just as far as security and peace of mind. And this is basically the process that I'm going to show you. I like how Cloudways approached it. It is really simple to do. I just have a quick notification here. It is really simple to do. So I'm just going to click on the server over here, and I'm going to come over here, down over here to backups. And this is where I'm going to have all the details that I need to configure for the server of the backup. So right now we're just on the server, and what this allows you to do with Cloudways, as you setting up your server, you can really have unlimited amount of applications there. It really depends on the configuration that you're gonna choose. So based on because every application is gonna use up some storage space, right? And as well, it's gonna need power to take some RAM to really function. So just depending on how you configure that, you can really have an unlimited amount of applications on that server, or it could be limited if you don't have a lot of resources, right? So the thing here, so one server, let's say, you on one server you have about 5 applications. With the backup that you're gonna do here, is gonna save a copy of a state of all the 5 applications all at once, right? So at any point you can go back and maybe decide you just want to restore just one of those applications. Is totally possible. So the first option that we have here is to schedule the time of when the backup is going to happen. So we're saying it's going to be at 9:23 UTC. UTC is, I believe, universal time, and a lot of the servers and machines tend to follow this time zone. I'm not too sure why, but this is something that I did realize. But the nice thing about Cloudways is letting you know here what's going to be the time, where you're living. So this is a nice touch over here. A little bit below here, we're gonna have the backup frequency, and with the backup frequency is just how often you want that backup to happen. Usually I just leave it by default here. Every 1 day seems good to me, but depending on the kind of things that you do, it could be that you want to do it every hour, every 3 hours, 6 hours. You definitely have a lot of options here, but for me, just based on my needs, every day is definitely good. Okay, when we come up here, we're gonna have the backup retention. So for each backup that's gonna be made there, how long do you want it to be retained before it is erased? So this is basically the option that we have here, and you have selection between 1 week and 4 weeks over here that you can select. So keep in mind that the more backups that you actually do, the more space it's gonna take. So over here is gonna let you know what is the backup, that's the space that the size of the backup that's gonna take. So the backup over here that's being taken is actually being stored off site, right? So this is one thing that you're gonna realize, especially when you're gonna look at your invoice for Cloudways. You're gonna see one of the first cost, or the first thing that they're gonna bill you, is gonna be the usage of the different servers that you have, and there will be an additional cost for backup that is actually it's additional, is different, is separate from the actual usage of the server. So that's what you're gonna see on your invoice there. Okay. When we come down over here, we have local backups. So with local backups, when you selected your server, you also selected with that a certain amount of storage that your server should have. So this is where, if you want, in addition to that offsite backup that's going to be made, you also want something that's going to be saved on the storage on the disk of that server. This is where you're going to do that, and usually I turn it on. So I do have about 3 ways for me of backing it up. I'm going to back up over here. That's going to be with the offsite option. I'm also going to back it up over here locally on that server. And with that, if you have FTP, FileZilla, you can definitely go there and retrieve that. And the third option that I back up is directly in the application, where usually I use WordPress. With WordPress, you have a plugin called Updraft Plus, and that is the one that I use. So with Updraft Plus, I'm able to do backup of that just of that application to another third-party cloud storage. So at that point, I'm probably going to use Google Drive. You could also use maybe Dropbox. You could use AWS, part of the storage of AWS. They have several options for there for you to choose, right? So it's definitely available. So with those three options, with those three backups that I will make, I'm really at peace. I know that if something really happens, I can retrieve that at any point. So I don't really do a lot of changes actually on my website. Maybe when I'm configuring really at the start, but when it's done, it's done. I don't really touch it, right? So that's just one thing to keep in mind. So those are the options here, but another touch that I really like about Cloudways is, so let's say right now we just configure it. The time that will work for us here is maybe 10 hours down the line. But if we really want to do a backup right now, this is what we can do. Take backup now, and it's gonna take a copy of it. So those are the options over here to set up the server. So when that backup for the server is being set up, I'm gonna go over here and let's go check the application that we have. I can do that from here, or I can also come up here, application, and look at all the different applications that I will have. And if we go down over here, we have backup and restore. I'm gonna click here, and this is where, in case maybe I was working on that application and I did something wrong there, I can come. So that server backup has been done for all the application on my server, but when I want to restore it, I can just restore it. I can decide to restore it just for one specific application, and this is where I'm going to do. In that case, in the case that I have here, I haven't done any backup. I just created this server not too long ago, right? Just for the purpose of this tutorial. So I'm not able to select that option here, but this is where you could go ahead and decide what is the specific backup that you would like to restore, right? And the same thing as well, that's really nice over here. You could decide to back up right now just all the info of that specific application here, and you could do that now, and you're gonna save it. So that's how I go about for backup, for either for servers, either for applications. Like I mentioned, I have about 3 ways of backing up my data, and I always use that for every application that I do. It provides me that I set up. It provides me a lot of peace of mind. I know that I'm pretty safe if anything happened there. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me below in the comment section. And that's pretty much it for me today. Thank you. Have a good one.